Okay guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to come over to the middle of our system over here. So this is going to be the part that we'd make on the ground. We'd have our lines over the roof, then we'd pull that line and it'd be up in the centre of the roof. We've got to be really, really cautious with this one here that we make it up properly. Because if we don't do it here and we put it up on the roof, it's wrong. That means we've got to pull our whole system back down again. So it's really, really important to get this right on our way through. What we're going to do is use our 100 metre line here in our 100 metre bag. This is the actual working line that we would use if we've had a proper disaster. So this is our real kit. We don't need to pull the whole bag out, by the way. We only need to pull enough out that we can tie our system up. Okay, so that one there. Now, notice I could just pull that end out, so I've only probably got about 6 metres or so of rope out there. That means I don't have to restuff it and reuse it again. With our 50 metre, wonderfully tied in the middle, so it's actually centred. So if I pull that out, I know that's the centre, and that's the part that we would use of our line as well. So we're going to use our centre. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over closer, so if you come a little bit closer so you can see everything, make sure you can. Okay, so what we're going to do on our static line, okay, so our static line here, we're going to do 2 alpine butterflies. Now, the 2 alpine butterflies got to be about 150 millimetres apart, 6 inches. Okay, you could go a wide hand, we've got a wide hand. All right, the reason we do that, it's got to fit inside our rope protector, which is here. Okay, so it's got to fit in. If we go out here, it won't be inside our rope protector. Now, with our butterfly, once again, we throw it over. There's 2 ways, a couple of ways of doing the butterfly, but we'll just show the simple way there. Throw the rope over, okay, go across, grab the bottom, pull it back through, okay. Now, we don't want a massive loop. We don't need a massive loop on the butterfly. If we had the thimbles, obviously, we would fit that into there. We're still using the thimbles, but that's our first butterfly there. Okay, so what we're going to make sure too is when we do our second butterfly, that actually the loop is going to be coming the same way. It's 150 millimetres or 6 inches, okay, so the distance out to there. What I'm saying is that's around about our 6 inch mark, but that's where we want it, making sure that we're going to sit into here inside our protector. So we get our rope, over, across, pulling it through. Okay, so before I actually just pull it really, really tight, I might want to start adjusting a little bit so I can get out a little bit further because it's close. Well, that's pretty close to where it should be. Okay, I'm going to neaten it up a little bit. So I want to make sure here that my 2 loops aren't massively different. Okay, we're going to dress it up a little bit. Okay, pulling it nice and tight so it's dressed that way. Okay, so we've got our 2 butterflies here. Pretty close to being 150 millimetres apart. We don't need a rule or anything specifically, but that's where we're going to be coming at, about that distance. So when we do sit it into here, okay, we know that it's inside our protector itself. Alrighty, so what we're going to do now onto our safety line, which is our 50 metre line, as you can see on the bag there, 50 metre bag. Okay, not always going to be the same colour though. Up here it will be, but you go somewhere else, the colour might change. You just got to know that in that one there, the big bag, 100 metres, written on the bag, those guys have done a fantastic job. With our safety line, our 50 metre, we're going to do our figure 8 on the bite. Okay, so what we're going to do now is dress it up nicely. So there's no twist in our line through there. Okay. Now, that's our first one. Okay, so that's first. Now what we're going to do is 1.2 metres apart for our second one. So 1.2 metres, good arm span. Okay. If you've got short arms, you might just add a little bit onto there, that's okay. The reason we have our 1.2 metres is that's going to be the line that sits on the roof that we can change over. It gives us plenty of loop, so if somebody falls, they're not going to pull somebody else off the roof. So what we do here, tie our next 8 on a bite. Okay, feeding it back through. Same thing again. Dressing it up a little bit there, nice and neat. Okay, so that's our second one. So what we have here, 2 8s there, okay, basically in the middle through there. Okay, so what we've done now is we've got our system laid out, ready to go. So you can see our static lines here. This is our safety line through to here. We're going to connect the whole lot together and then just double check it before we finish off. So we get our carabiner here, so we're going to hook it straight through, trip lock, and sitting it down like that. We get our next one over here. Back through there, back through there. Now what we're going to do is make sure we check the gates are closed so they're locked. Okay, so making sure that they can't go open by themselves or they're just faulty at any stage. So now we've got our system layout. What we need to do is protect our system. So this protector is sitting here, goes over the whole thing. stops it getting damaged on the roof, okay, making sure nothing can get cut. So what we need to make sure that we can do is fold our protector over our system. So we've got plenty of room, as you can see through there, to fold it through. Now if you got to the stage where this wouldn't fold properly, you could just widen it out a little bit. Okay, so you can actually widen out our 2 Alpine butterflies, making sure we put it through. So now that we've done this bit to here, as you can see, I'm just going to pick it up here, pick our system up. So what we got there, 8s, our 2 trip locks hooking onto our butterflies. We've also got our protector right over neatly. The main thing about the protector is we don't want it to undo on the roof. Okay, so if we're pulling it back and forth on the roof, we don't want that to fall off on the roof, otherwise we've got to go back and collect it. So that's our system as you would see it here.